Welcome to Life in Times of Cotto. I am your host, Jay Cotto. And in today's segment, I do want to discuss just a simple observation that I had with my wife and I making sandwiches. We were making lunch. And I had a quick little observation. And again, this is something that I like to do. I take daily observations and then just turn them into like these little moments of realization. And in this instance, we were making sandwiches. We were making lunch. We spending some time together. Again, like I told you guys before in the past, she works from home. I'm off. So we were at this moment, we were making lunch. And as we were making lunch, we were making some sandwiches. She was saying, oh, well, I want mayo on mine. And I'm like, I want mustard on mine. And in that instance, I thought about it and it was just like, it's a lot like personalities, right? And it becomes those you can't have too much of everything. Like you can't have two of the same personality, although there may be instances where that might work. It doesn't always, most times it doesn't, right? So the same with the same thing in going into those sandwiches. You can't have too much mayo, right? And there are going to be those people that like that, but you can't have too much mayo because after a while it just becomes thick and rich and oily, and it's just like, oh, I'm kind of sick of this shit, right? So you can't really, you got to have a mixture of something. You have to add something else to balance that out. So in making these sandwiches, I thought about exactly that. My wife likes mayo, I like mustard. you know she's a bit more aggressive and very like, raw, where I'm just a little bit more laid back and just kind of cool. We are the legit typical, one person is here, the other person is here, and that what keeps us balanced out, right? And that's very, very typical of my wife and I. Again, she's aggressive, I'm not. I'm only aggressive if I need to be, and then if I'm aggressive, she's not. And that's just how it went with those sandwiches, right? So you can't have too much fucking mayo or too much mustard on your sandwich, because then it's OD, it's too much. Then it becomes too much. You can't have two people that are aggressive, because two people are aggressive, it's a fucking war, right? You don't want that. You want to have like a perfect balance. And that's the observation I had in making those sandwiches, which I thought was like, damn, if we, again, in anything else that I do, you find those little things. If you're just paying enough attention, you find those little nuggets of just like wisdom, and it's in shit that you do every day, you know. And that's why I started this in finding those little nuggets, finding those little moments of clarity, those little moments of like, holy shit, man, this is, what are we doing, if it's something as simple as what we're doing in making a sandwich, then but again, I digress. I'm going into other things, but that's the little observations that I have. And I'll give you another one. I'll give you a bonus one today, because usually I stick on one, but today I had two of them. And I was taking my youngest daughter to school, and she was asking me something about a song that I guess is really like, I don't mean to say the name, but it's a Doja Cat song. It's a video, and I think it was kind of thought of as being possibly devilish or whatever it is. And anyway, she asked me, "Oh, is it okay that I like this song or whatever it is?" And I was like, "Look, man, it's a song, but there are blatant things that might be put in front of you or not, or I didn't try to get too deep with her into that, because again, I wanted her to grasp what I was saying." But anyway, I told her, like, if you like the song, you like the song. But if it, at the end of the day, you got to ask yourself, like, does it feel wrong? Like, does something feel off to you about that? And she was like, yeah, kind of. I was like, okay, well then that's the lesson there. So if something feels wrong, 9 times out of 10, it's probably right. Don't engage. Don't be part of it. If it doesn't feel right, it's not right. And that was the lesson that basically I was having with her at that moment on her way to school. And with that, it goes into things that I kind of do on the daily basis. It's kind of things that people that I speak to, just come in contact with certain people, and why I navigate the way I navigate. I navigate in a way that if it's not going to pull my best forward, I'm going to disengage. I'm not going to engage in something that I feel like is going to jeopardize my character, my person. And sometimes I might do it in a way where it might be too much. I might overdo it. It's too much, and I don't want to be, I don't want to engage in a lot of things or a lot of people. And that's just my defense mechanism. That's just me making sure that my character, my karma is all protected at all times, as often as I need it to be. And again, I might overdo it, but that was the lesson. The lesson was, make sure the things that you do are good by you. You got to be able to walk away from things saying that, either you gave it your best, that you were in a good position to do something, and if and it felt good at the end of the day. Like you didn't compromise yourself or anybody else. You didn't take nobody down with you. And that was that lesson. That lesson was, if it's right, it's right. If it feels wrong, then the truth is, it's probably fucking wrong. You know what I'm saying? And those are two little observations that I had actually within the today. I'm not going to make shit up. I'm not going to tell you it was another day. It was actually today. I took her to school, and that was lesson number one, right? And during lunchtime, that was lesson number two. Like, hey, man, we got to try to find ways to balance each other out. And it's exactly that. Like, one person might like mustard, one person might like mayo, but we got to respect those differences, and that's what kind of keeps us leveled out. You can't have too much of one thing. Too much of one thing is actually too much. Anyway, that's all I got. Do what you do it well, do it the best way you know how. Jay Cotto, and I am